Hello, welcome to part 3 of the behind the scenes series for my short film His Warm Hands that I'm currently making. So in this video I'm going to give a quick update on how the film's going, and then I'm going to walk you through making a complete shot from start to finish, or almost to finish, because there's an extra stage that will come in like a few months where I paint each frame. But for now, I'll show you how I make the first pass of animation, I guess. So yeah, the update on the film. I'm now 21% of the way through the initial animation, so I kind of split it into 3 passes. Got my first pass, which is kind of the initial animation, and getting it as good as possible but not spending too much time on it. And then I'll have the second pass of animation, which is just refining that down. Third pass is refining it even more and adding in background characters and things that aren't as important but need to be going on kind of around the main characters and around the main action. So I'm 21% of the way through the first pass, so obviously it's still a long way to go, but it's good progress, and some of the shots won't need a second pass or won't need background characters and stuff. Yeah, that's where we're at so far. I've also been painting not as much as I would have liked. I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 paintings since the last update, just because I've been away in Prague for a month. I'm back now. I might go somewhere else soon. We'll see, but I think I'm here for about a month to just keep working on the film. So hopefully that'll mean that I'll be able to do a bit more painting, get a bit faster. The last painting that I did, which is a shot from Attenberg, the Athena Rachel Tsangari film. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. That painting just took, I believe, like half an hour, which is really good because I'm trying to get my time down. I feel like I'm at a level now where I'm happy with the quality of the paintings, but I'm trying to get faster, because if I'm going to paint the whole film, I need to be able to like get a frame done in like half an hour maximum, really, maybe 45 minutes. And also, if I'm working on a shot, I can work on multiple frames at a time, so while one's drying, I can be working on the next frame, you know, making, because that will help with consistency as well. But yeah, I mean, trying to get faster is good. So yeah, half an hour is pretty good. I think I didn't time myself. The next time I paint, I'll time myself. And I think the quality of the painting is still good. I think it's not obviously as detailed as some of the earlier ones where I'll spend like 2-3 hours on a painting. But it's still, it's good enough for the film, especially, you know, because the frame is going by so fast. Obviously, I want it to be as high quality as possible. But actually, I think maybe sometimes the detail would be negative, because if it's you know, going through the frames, I won't be able to get the details perfect in each frame, which means it'll flicker a lot, you know, jump around, which might not be, you know, ideal for the film for certain shots. For some shots it might be okay, for some shots not so much. That's the main update. I've been considering other titles as well. That's another thing. His Warm Hands, I don't mind, but I think that I'm not a huge fan of the alliteration. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm considering some other options, which are, I'll put on the screen the other options, which, yeah, I think some of them might be better. I don't know. I think also sometimes if I'm with a title for a while, I get sick of it, like thinking about the title. I'm like, oh, maybe not, maybe not. But then, I don't know, if I switch to something else for a little bit and see how that feels, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm considering changing the title, which would be a bit of a pain because I've been referring to it as His Warm Hands for a while. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I've also started working on one of the sequences, which is in thermal imaging kind of camera view, whatever. So I've been working on the textures, or I've made the textures, I guess. They may change because I think there's some like weirdness in some of the textures, but also it's all going to get painted over anyway. It's just a guide. But how I did that was I took a image online of someone's face, which had been photographed with a thermal camera, and then I just edited it and manipulated it to fit the UV of each of the character spaces, which they all have the same UV because they're based off the same mesh. Which is useful because it means I can just transfer it over. But yeah, and then I made it fit their face a bit more. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the faces. And then for the rest of the bodies, I mostly used the ambient occlusion map, which an ambient occlusion map, basically, it's when two faces are touching. there'll be like the map of like how close they are touching or they are touching. I can use that map to make a fake heat map just for like the arms and the main body, and also it's really useful for the t-shirts because when I was looking at reference images of people photographed with thermal cameras, you kind of see the folds in the t-shirts still, or you know, in their clothes. So that's something I needed to kind of replicate. So yeah, I've used an ambient occlusion map for that. It's not super detailed, it's not super accurate. I don't think it's how it would actually look. But for now it works. Maybe I'll go in later and make it a bit more custom, like painting the maps myself. But again, it's just a guide. And I don't know if it necessarily matters too much how accurate the thermal cameras are, because I'm also going with this kind of stylized thing where one of the characters is much more red and orange and the other character is kind of blue, which isn't realistic, obviously. So, because I want them to be able to interact, you know, when they touch each other or whatever, you can see the imprint they leave. It means that it's not a realistic thermal image anyway. But as long as you get the idea of what it is and kind of understand that that's what it's supposed to be, I think it'll work. So now I'm going to walk you through me making a whole shot, animating from start to finish. I'm going to do what I think is probably the hardest shot in the film, I think. I've been kind of dreading doing it, so I figure perfect shot to just do in front of people. So yeah, I'll start with showing some reference for it. Actually, no, I'll start with telling you what the shot is. Cool. So the shot that I'm going to be animating today is shot 17, which is a wide of Isaac on the right, leaning against a brick wall, smoking. On the left of frame, we can see the glass doors. Noah walks to the doors and tries to open it, but struggles. He tries again and eventually manages to open it. He stumbles out and closes the door behind him. So that's the shot that I've decided to do today, which I'm quite worried about because of a few things. First thing is Noah is drunk, so I need to make sure to animate him as if he's drunk. There's also a bit where, you know, where he's walking, he's struggling with the door. There's a lot of like body mechanics, movement stuff. It's quite complicated. Also, I need the weight of the door. Filming reference is a bit difficult because I don't have a sliding door. I want it to be a sliding door. Both characters are in the shot, although they're not interacting, so that makes it a bit easier. Some of the other shots where they're interacting is quite difficult because there's only me that can film reference of myself. So I only have one person, and so when they're like interacting with each other, it's quite difficult to shoot reference for that because I have to do like one character then the other, and then I don't get reference for like the contact or anything like that. So the first thing that I need to do is film reference. Right, so now I'm going to start animating. Well, first I need to get my reference all sorted. So I'm in DaVinci Resolve. I've brought in my reference footage, which I've got all the different takes of. Shot from inside, shot from outside, and then this shot. So I need to edit it into one kind of clip that I can use as reference. Okay, so I now have this clip edged together just to have the continuity of all the action I've made sure to have, and both characters in shot because the shot that this will be is from the outside, so this character over here that's smoking outside will need to be in shot the whole time, so might as well have reference for their movements. Yeah, so now I can export this and bring this into Blender to use as reference footage. Okay, so I have everything now in Blender. I've tried to optimize the scene, so no junk or anything that's not needed. I guess I could maybe take that out as well, actually. In quotes. It's invisible. So that means I can play it back at full speed for the most part. It does also mean the characters are a little bit naked, but that's fine. So yes, now I've got my reference loaded up here. So yeah, so now I just need to kind of use that reference as the basis for the animation. So the first thing that I'm going to do with Noah, I'm going to match move his center of gravity, so that's this, to where my center of gravity is. I actually ended up starting with the feet instead, and then using that to find where the center of gravity should be. This helped to make the movement more fluid and drunk, as I could overshoot it more than I could when filming reference. So as I said earlier, I was a bit worried about the sliding door situation, but because I don't have a sliding door. So I think I'm going to need to replace this door in the set with a normal door, because I don't have any reference for a sliding door, and there's no actual reason as to why it needs to be a sliding door. I don't know why. I think the reason I decided that is because the house that this is based off, which is one of my friends' houses when we were at uni, their student house, is kind of based off that, and they had a sliding door. So I think that's why I wanted to use a sliding door, but there's no reason to. So I just need to find a different door that fits. This is the first time I've any characters interacted with the door, so it's not a big deal to change it. It just means I've got to go back to all my other project files and edit them. But that won't be too difficult to do. That's just something I'll need to do. So I need to find a door that fits well enough. So I've just started animating the arm, which I was trying to do with FK constraints, which is basically this. So you control each kind of section of the arm separately. However, the issue that I've realized is that I need him to interact with the door handle. So I'm going to switch to IK on this arm, but keep this arm FK, because the benefit of FK is that you can get kind of the arcs of motion a little bit nicer. It's a bit smoother, whereas IK, you basically hold the hand and then move the hand around, and then everything else follows. The problem with that is if I move the hand from here to here, you just get a straight line and everything just follows. Whereas if you move each part individually, you get the kind of arc. But IK means that I can stick the hand onto the door handle and it won't like move around, because right now the issue is if the body's moving around, then this will follow the body, so it won't be able to stick to the door handle. But the right hand the right hand doesn't need to stick to anything, so I can use FK for that. But yeah, so to switch to, I always mess up switching. There you go. So my left arm wants to be FK, which is here. So now you can see I move this and everything else follows. And then I can move the elbow location with this, or the direction that. So then what that means is that when everything else moves, it stays where it is, which means I can just, and once I get to the door handle, I can just lock it onto the door handle. Like, there we go. And then you can move his hand, this, yeah, that just works better. But yeah, I thought I'd mention what I was doing. Everything else is going okay. It's not amazing at the moment, but obviously, this is just kind of a first pass of animation. And I'll go through, smooth things out. Like, for example, I kind of, in the reference, I land on my foot kind of heavy here. And I've kind of shown that with the hip here, but that's not really accurate. It needs to go throughout the whole body, but for now I'm not really focusing on that kind of thing. I'm just getting the general motion, and then I can go in and add these kind of details and the weight shifts being a bit smoother and nicer later. I'm giving myself a base to work off at the moment. And I'm just doing kind of half the shot as well. Because there's a ton of interaction with the door here. So I'll do that kind of separately afterwards. So I just have this idea to have the door like swing open and then hit back into the character. So I need to have him kind of interact because he hits the floor, hits the door, sorry, and then his kind of weight needs to shift over and then he balances himself. And then I might cut around it so he just leaves the door open. I'm not sure whether to leave the door open or have it closed. I guess I can just have it like closed behind him by itself. It's kind of quiet outside, and if I leave the door open, then it will be, the music would still be coming through. So I guess it just needs to close by itself behind him. So I've had it kind of swing, hit, swing, what's it do? Swing, hit, and then it kind of rests by itself here. I might have it swing, hit, and then come all the way closed, so re-attack. It's a bit goofy, doesn't it? If I get the curve right, maybe it would work. What? Yeah, I feel like that works. I think that's not what your attention will be on. Which should. Yeah. But then I've got this whole section in my reference where I close the door. So I just need to figure out how to get through that without closing the door. Okay, so now that I've got the general animation looking decent, I'm going to have a look at what the cloth simulation looks like on his clothes. So I'm just going to enable the clothes. I'm going to look specifically at the t-shirt. I've got all my settings kind of generally set already from other scenes. Boom, so I think that shirt will be okay. So I should bake that and have a look at what it looks like. It's not super important at this point. I'm just kind of getting a general idea, making sure that there's no big issues that need sorting now. Before I move on to doing some other stuff, working on the other character, the animation of the other character, and then I can come back and refine the animation on here. And also I'll start working on the cameras. Okay, so we've got issue. Clothes are not sticking to him. What's wrong? I think I know. I think that cloth simulation is under the armature simulation, so that should be fine with that one. That should be fine, but I'll just put the top just in case. Okay, Holiday C is going to be some issues here. Because we're still having a lot of issues. So what is the problem? Okay, so I'm just going to play with this first pose to make sure that nothing is clipping. Okay, so a little fix that I'm going to try is I'm just going to make it a tiny bit. So it grows a tiny bit. Dynamic mesh. Okay, so that's looking a lot better. Still not 100%. But because of the style of what the film will be, I don't think that it'll matter. It's not 100% the physically accurate. I think it will still work. It just, yeah, it'll make it a bit more dynamic, a bit nicer to look at. Okay, so I've just had to scroll through Pinterest. I'm trying to find some inspiration kind of for the look of the outside of the house. That's not recently I thought about too much, but a decent portion of the film takes place outside the house. So looking on Pinterest, I haven't really been able to find anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my photos from uni of like house parties and stuff, looking through and see if I can find anything that I can use as inspiration. Right now I'm thinking that I kind of want a fire outside, like maybe in a bin or something. I could have a light here, maybe a fence over here. Like a alley between houses. Obviously it needs a roof up here, or like we could, I guess it's probably more than one story, so the wall can just continue. Also, like in terms of like the color of the wall, a lot of my inspiration on Pinterest. I've forgotten to watch your Pinterest board. I really like these kind of paintings with the colorful backgrounds, and so I guess I could have the wall, the outside of the wall, be kind of a specific kind of color, kind of like that. But I need to go with something that's kind of realistic, but also maybe thematically relevant, because there's a few colors that I'm using in the film that have meaning or relevance to certain characters or whatever. So I need to have to think about what I'm going to use, what would make sense as a background, what would look good. So yeah, I'm going to do that now and then get back to animating, designing, all that kind of thing. So I've had a look at color scheme kind of ideas, and I've been using mostly red and blue, and so to have a triadic color scheme, I would want to use kind of a yellow color. I was looking at yellow houses, and I think this kind of muted yellow would work the best. It's also a color that I think I could paint quite easily. Like, I don't know, it didn't draw too much attention to itself, and it's good. I think it would I think this is the one. So I'm going to start working on the outside of the house. I may also kind of have it with there's still the kind of brick. There we go, there's a good example. Happens to be. There's still kind of the brick texture underneath. But I don't want to make it too difficult to paint, so maybe not. I'm going to make it as simple, just kind of a plain will be just like a background. As for the rest of it, the visual style, I have, or the rest of the kind of set, the outdoor set, I've found these 3 images from when I was at uni. Kind of the grass, although I kind of don't want the grass, I want kind of more of this kind of paving, and maybe kind of, having it kind of dirty would work. And then the mismatched wooden fence, and then maybe a shed at the end of the garden, which you can't see in this shot, but I might as well make it now. So OBS crashed last night, so you didn't get the end of what I was doing, but I basically added some lighting, added a bit of the set, so built it out up, added this fire, the fence, the floor, all that kind of thing. So it's looking decent. Added some lighting around as well. Yeah, so this is how it's looking at the moment. I'll play it now. So I think it's looking okay. There are a few issues with the t-shirts, like this frame. It kind of pops off of him. And then this frame's not great as well, but it's really fast, and so I don't think it's going to be an issue. I mean, I'll try tweaking the cloth simulation settings some more, but I think for the most part it's not a big issue. You don't really notice it when it's in motion. It kind of adds a bit more to actually, because it kind of stretches it out a little bit more. I think I need to work on the lighting, specifically on Noah's character. I think the lighting over here isn't too bad. He's kind of in the shadow, but I think it works over here. I just want to add a cigarette to his hand. What else do we need? So I'm thinking I'll add this light over here maybe to light him up a little bit more. So we've got a little bit more light on his face, just generally around him. But actually, animation wise, pretty happy. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put I'm gonna do the lighting, and then I'll put this on Reddit, because they will tear me apart and tell me everything that's wrong about it and tell me how awful it is. Which can sometimes be useful for figuring out what I need to change. So I think I'm pretty happy with how that's looking, in terms of the lighting and stuff. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to render it out with just the characters, and then I'll have them just like black on a white screen to check the posing, to see if you can kind of read the movement just from the outline, because I'm not sure if it's kind of too messy. Like, I want it to be more realistic than cartoony, but still have some like cartooniness to it, obviously, with them like being hit by the door and stuff like that. This is like a bit of a comedic beat, I guess, but also needs to be kind of readable by the outline, which I'm not sure if it is right now. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So this is how it looks with just the silhouettes. So you can kind of see how readable it is just with the poses. I mean, I was just kind of using this to see if there's any glaring issues, but I don't see any. So I'm going to re-render it with full lighting and the set and all that as I had before, you know, with the new lighting and stuff. And then I will get that up on Reddit and see what people say. Sometimes I get lots of feedback, sometimes I get nothing. So we'll see. So I posted the final animation onto Reddit and left it overnight. Unfortunately, I only got one comment which said, "The violence of the door slamming, I'm in love, XDDDD," which isn't a great feedback. It's very nice, but it's not exactly what I was looking for. So I guess I'm going to leave it like this for now, and then come back to it in the future for a second pass of animation. As I explained at the start of the video, this is just the first pass, so leaving it a little bit rough is okay. There are small things that I still want to change, like the speed of the door swinging out and how it bounces back. Also, Isaac's animation, the guy smirking, leaned up against the wall. I think he needs to react a bit more when Noah gets hit by the door. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I did a little bit of sound design just so I could see kind of how it would play in the film a little bit more. So I'll play that now. So I think that looks pretty good. It definitely helps with the sound, and I think it'll flow well in the sequence that it's in. So yeah, I hope that gave kind of a general idea of how I go about animating a shot. It didn't end up being as difficult of a shot as I thought it would be. It took about 5 hours, I think, maybe 6 hours in total to animate, which is pretty fast. I think it's one of the only kind of full body shots where there's, you know, lots of movement and stuff happening. I think by design, like, I decided to try and make it not too difficult to animate. I also think because of the whole process of painting later down the line, I'm better at painting closer up stuff. So having a kind of wide shot like this there's not a ton of them in the film. But yeah, I think it went pretty well, all things considered. And hopefully in the future I can come back to it and make it a bit better. Yeah, like I say, there are definitely things that need to change with the animation, making it smoother, making weight shifts a little bit more accurate. Also, the kind of ending pose I'm not super happy with. I think his arms look kind of too stiff, so trying to loosen them up, that's something I'll do in the future. But yeah, I guess because I couldn't get any feedback on Reddit, if anyone has any feedback for the shot, that would be useful. And also with the name, title of the film, any feedback on that would be good. Just any feedback in general. This is all kind of a work in progress, but that's where I'm at. Also, a few other updates with my other films. Float Away has been selected to be shown at Crystal Palace Film Festival. It's showing on the 8th of March. And then my other film, Away from the Ocean Crashing into Shore, is showing at a different film festival, which I can't say at the moment, but I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, so that's how my other films are going. So I think that's all for the update. It's a longer one today, but I think hopefully it was interesting. I mean, this is just kind of the process that I've been using while working on this animation. It's not the process that I used on my past animations, so it's the first time that I'm doing this like this. I've also you know, gone to school for any of this, so I don't know how it's supposed to be done. It's just me figuring it out as it goes. I hope that's clear. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you in the next update. Hopefully it won't be as big of a gap between them this time. Goodbye.